And then with resistance training, the muscle growth was quite substantial. Now, the effective dose is 240 milligrams, which brings you to a market price of several $1,000s. I made a deep dive about ACE-031 and ACE-083. Again, it looked very promising on paper. ACE-031 works systemically, subcutaneous administration, and ACE-083 is intramuscular administrations. Based on the research that I've done, ACE-083 is more compelling because it gets rapidly deactivated in the bloodstream. It's a follistatin 288 variant, to put it simple, bound to immunoglobulin IgG2, I believe. Very rapid muscle gain in the muscle that it was injected into by blocking myostatin, or was an activin receptor blocker. It's a decoy receptor, basically. So the myostatin goes and then doesn't activate the myostatin pathway. So you basically remove the rate-limiting factor of muscle growth. And then with resistance training, the muscle growth was quite substantial. Now, the effective dose is 240 milligrams, which brings you to a market price of several $1,000s. So nobody will ever be able to run this experiment because all the vials of ACE-083 that I see online are either 1, 2, or 5 milligrams, and then it's already like $100. So you're spending thousands on an injection. If you have thousands to spend, I mean, you might as well inject stem cells into your quads. You know, at that point.
Right. Well, and with your point, that's the rate limit on muscle growth. It's not myostatin. It's how many stem cells you have. How many nuclei can you add to a muscle cell? That's why growth hormone works.
I'm surprised it hasn't been investigated to use stem cells to increase muscle size.
I think there's probably ethical things, at least here, with it.
Yeah. And it's probably very expensive. And the guys that can afford it would probably not be interested in muscle mass. They're probably more interested in looking young or healing organs.
Thousands and thousands of dollars.
Yeah.
You know, and doctors can't mark up, at least in the United States, doctors cannot mark up a drug. That's against the law, but they can charge for the procedure, which the procedure in that case involves them sticking a needle in you. So then they get a couple grand to stick the needle in you. You're looking at $8,000 for a shot. Yeah. Who's doing that?
Who's doing that, right?
But even if you could get the bottle of it, I mean, you're probably $4 or $5 grand. I would have to guess for a bottle.
Yeah,
of
I tried to. Yeah. No,
and even then, you've got cross-reactivity and immunological responses that come from it. I'm not sure about you guys, but I've read quite a few horror case studies of guys getting stem cell therapy, and there's been mass rejection because of the alignment of their body to the stem cell donor. Again, unless you are getting stem cells from your direct sort of genetic lineage, you're taking a big risk taking stem cells that have come from another genetic source, to put it easy.
Yeah, I think there's some procedures with anti-rejection drugs that are being put in place until the stem cells kind of solidify. But yeah, I haven't really looked much into it.
But again, for muscle growth, it's one heck of a procedure to grow muscle.
Yeah, exactly. But it would be cheaper than ACE-083.
It would be, but it would be even cheaper to use Serostim.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So all roads lead back to S tier pharmaceutical Serostim. And we'll put those two in F tier also, simply because it's just unaffordable for everybody.